that showcases the technology, experts, and networks that are helping water work for the planet, people, and profit. Mary officially began her career in water advocacy after WEFTEC 2015, where she realized the immensity of the global water crisis. A fun fact about Mary is that she traces her passion for water business back to when she was 12 years old and began delivering speeches on water pollution in Watertown, Wisconsin.
Thanks very much, Ahmad. I really am so excited to learn from all of you because, as Ahmad said, I re-entered the water profession just 5 years ago at WEFTEC. When I was 10 years old, there were piles of pollution 30 feet high and 60 feet wide behind my home in the river. And my teacher said, hey, anyone want to participate in a conservation contest? And I thought, wow, I have a story to tell, and if we could solve this, it would be just incredible. And what was beautiful, and this will date me, is the Clean Drinking Water Act came along, and those piles disappeared. And I thought, no need to worry about water anymore. I entered the tech profession and didn't return to water until I had a friend tell me about water and jobs in Pakistan. And I thought, oh, those poor people, in third world countries who don't have water problems, we need to go help them. And I asked him about the technology we'd be using. My husband agreed, sounds like a good 6-month sabbatical. And he told me about the RO systems there that were 30 years old, really dependable. And I said, wait a second, 30 years old? There's been so much energy efficiency work, so much done since that time. I said, I can't fundraise for a 30-year-old technology. And said, we've got to find something better. And I went to WEFTEC and learned, they had as a speaker that year, how many of you go to WEFTEC? WEFTEC, yeah, amazing technology showcase. So the speaker that year was giving a talk about sharks and the disappearance of sharks because of shark finning, seeking that out from Chinese in the Orient, valuing those. And he mentioned that all marine life would disappear by 2050. And that by 2030, we'd have a 40% gap between supply and demand of water. Now, you all sitting in this room know those types of stats. I was in the tech world and I looked around at my peers, I said, did you have any idea we were that close to a problem? And you can tell from my voice, this really was a burden for me that I had ignored water for 30 years focusing on technology. And I set out to fix that, and joined a group that was promoting Israel's water technologies in California with the Israel-California Water Conference. Joined every basic water organization I could to find out, where is the technology and how can we promote it and how can we connect people and give that visibility to it. The Milwaukee Water Council, all of the water clusters. There's so much good work going on in water. But we experienced and discovered amazing challenges. And those challenges are things you are living today that we're hearing about. Tremendously inefficient market. It's hard to get your hands on data. People feel that privacy is more important so that you don't have transparency. The water problems are placing new demands on all of you, and I see many of you at about 30 different water conferences a year. How do you get work done when you have to be out there talking to people and have stuff sitting on your desks and all of the compliance and regulatory reports? So the challenges are huge. What we also learned is the investment. This is the biggest business opportunity our world has seen. We need to reinvent so that we can sustain life for those people who are I'm not a radical person. I believe the technologies exist here, but the investment, it's more like $1 trillion here in the US, but we don't really know. And the reality is that it's coming in a new way with communications. It's like the world I worked in, enterprise IT. Communications together with data, together with hardware, and software and analytics and smart people who can do the digital twin strategies on top to envision things. But a whole 50% of you may be retiring, and that knowledge base, go to a conference and I ask people who's the knowledge expert and how do I connect with them, where do I find their information? And walk up and the guy says, well, if you want my reports, you need to meet me at a conference like this, get my email, get it to me, and I happen to read it. And then I happen to find the document that you said you wanted, and I send it to you. And I thought, oh my goodness, how can we possibly scale our knowledge or educate the next generation that's digitally savvy and looking for all of this stuff to be found online? But there are a few places online. We're talking with the LIFT people today, and Walter over here with the Water Research Group. And all of you, most of you have said you put your information online and it's available to everyone. But the technology information is not so easy to find. In fact, at conferences, a technology guy corralled me in the hall because he said, you know, we paid to sponsor this, but we can't have a place at the podium because we're a technology, and we're viewed as selling something. And so the guys who maybe have all of the information, I was thrilled to see Go Agua right here, are not able to share it because they're viewed as having a vantage point that may be a problem when they've been trying to solve your very problems, and that's why they exist. So our vision is that we come out of the marketing and digital PR spaces that we can connect all of you so that we're, and create waves of impact. And the reason we need to create waves of impact and connect you is because the new model, there is a technology stack. Enterprise IT involves connected software, hardware. All of the players in the water space have been defined, as we heard by Gigi and others by Swan. There's a 5-stack level. You have physical, and then you all go all the way up to artificial intelligence and reporting. And here's some of the players that are in that group. I have the privilege of working with Gigi and a guy by the name of Graham Simmons, who wrote Smart Grid for water and pulls all of these data pieces together and is happy to help any of you. We all share the heart for seeing this stuff resolved efficiently. And what's nice is Israel and California came together 5 years ago and formed a memorandum of understanding to talk about how do we resolve these problems. They're so big, and Israel actually has created a model. They had to resolve it in order to bring people back to Israel, and they identified all of the barriers to a typical water system, and then identified solutions to that. And the business case for water, once you have an integrated system, is really significant. 38% water savings and double-digit returns. But you have to have all the data to know the avoided costs as well as the savings that you didn't expect. What's beautiful is technology does provide us with a path to resilience, and it's here today. And the solutions, if you go to WEFTech, can be seen. We've had the privilege of working with Swan and WEF to organize the path to resilience. And you can go there and look at the 10 technologies that have case studies and have delivered very significant impact, from eliminating 50% of waste to optimizing systems like with the digital twin or sensing contaminants in remote areas. And the beautiful thing is that the old model of adoption, 10 to 30 years, can be reduced to 1 to 3 years when you use digital technologies. And I'm going to give you 4 quick wins. And anyone who can answer what those 4 quick wins are in a cocktail reception later will get a free pass and recognition in our special community that I'm going to give you all free access to. And the quick wins have to be turnkey. They have to be implementable in 8 weeks. So you could go out of this conference and in 8 weeks from now, be able to celebrate with your team a very significant savings and visibility point. And they can be implemented for under $15,000. So our funding source over here, Heather, may be able to get behind us and see the ROI as fast as a day. And if you need to do work stuff right now, you can just simply look up this community, gwwconnect.com, which we've put together for you. It's our volunteer work alongside our marketing work that is being driven by a few ambitious utility people, the Green Plumber, and others who really want to see these things resolved. And Gigi and others in this group have contributed knowledge that we're sharing, and we'll add the rest that you've agreed to share publicly. But one quick win, security. Our underground infrastructure is not visible. It's keeping our wastewater operators up all night, wondering when that next overflow will occur. The EPA estimates 25,000 to 75,000 overflows a year. That's what we know. We also know they're illegal dumpers, but what 400 utilities now know is when those things are going to happen and when someone's intruded. And they're able to eliminate 99% of their overflows through the advanced alerts that allow them to get out there and clean up the sewers. And they're also able to optimized cleaning, saving 95% of cleaning costs with San Antonio's results. And for a group in Crested Butte that had a consent decree and had to add a $10 million pipe, they were able to add 100,000 in sensors and eliminate that $10 million pipe. So, oops. Okay, and then we have, also, we don't know what the customers think, but 300,000 folks in the UK do know, and they're saving $30 to $300 per customer who follows the ideas, and this is all done through NRWA savings engine, which I have cards here. A 6-minute virtual home water audit can allow all of you to answer your questions on the meters. And it's available, launched by the NRWA. If we had 10% of the US population surveyed, we could predict demand. And water from air, we have availability for resilience now possible. We're looking at reuse, but we can also deliver through a new innovation that's surfacing water in the desert. And you can meet Frank Slavinek here, who's part of that group. Water right from the air, when you have lead contaminants or problems that people are off grid, can't get water, they can use that. Finally, sustainability, you can access each other 24/7, and I can see right now on my app who's in this room from the community that GWW Connect you can go into. So you can come back to each other, you can talk about this stuff, we'll put everything out on the web, but basically we don't want to have anyone fishing anymore, we want to have everyone swimming with each other, creating that forward momentum we all need, and all you need to do is connect, collaborate, celebrate, let us know how we can better serve you, what you need access to, let us know your wish for water. The last guy who shared his wish actually had to be the fulfillment of it, so just be cautious. But thank you very much. I'm Mary Eggert, GlobalWaterWorks.